Good morning. Welcome to Adu and the Guru. It's another episode of the show. A lovely, lovely Monday, the 5th of December. And as always, Adu and the Guru is that program that brings you never before heard facts, analysis, and in-depth discussions on the stories that are making the rounds in the country. And of course, we go beyond the headlines to delve deeper, to find deeper, richer meanings to these stories. Anyway, before I introduce to some and present to others the Guru, let me remind you that this is a very interactive show. You can join us on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp line for the station is 0809 234 5913. 234 5913. Okay, call us on that. WhatsApp us on that. I meant to say you can call us much later, but for now it's just WhatsApp messages, and then Twitter as well at Lagos Talks 913. So do join the conversation there and use the hashtag Adu and the Guru. Well, without further ado, let me present to some and introduce to other. Editor at large of the newsguru.com, veteran journalist of over 45 years of stellar journalistic work. He is usually referred to as the walking encyclopedia, and they even call him the prophet of our time because of his accurate analysis in many topical matters. Of course, for that reason, I call him the Chair Guru of journalism worldwide, Nigeria, even Africa, and then we come back to Lagos, and then we come to Lagos Talks, and most importantly, Kefi Street. But today, I wouldn't tell you the room number because that will be reserved for much later in the year. Mr. Godwin Etakiwebu, the Guru, is live with us. Good morning, sir.
Adu.
Yes, sir.
And the year, you have how many weeks to end the year to review that? No problem. How many weeks do you have to review? How many weeks do you have to review the room number?
Not so many, but I'll still keep the suspense.
But permit me to warn you.
Yes, sir.
As you review my room number, you have reviewed your own bedroom number.
Because where the Guru is, I am.
All right. That's very good of you.
Yes, sir.
That's very good of you. Good morning, Lagos Talks 1.3 FM. You are welcome to Adu and the Guru, and today is the 5th day of December, meaning the year is running out very, very fast. We can break the remaining days 2 seconds, so you will be left for you to turn over 2022 to 2023. But the big question you'll be asking yourself now is this. Everything I set out to do in January 2022, how many of them have I accomplished? I only hope by the time you go into this calculation, which will uplift your soul or bring downcast onto you, you may sometimes want to clap to yourself, and sometimes you may want to discover, ironically of course, that you've wasted most of these of the year. And as this year is logging out on 31st of December, a few days from today, by the grace of God, it becomes 1 year in your life minus 1 year in my life. So it is for this reason that I would always be calculating, I would always be advising people that please, make sure you effectively use every day that comes to you. Because procrastination, and again, procrastination is death of royalty. What you can do today, if you move it ahead, that destiny killer. It kills destiny. I'm only saying this so that the remaining 4 days, the remaining few days, 21 days that remain for the year to log off, start very, very seriously on top of the situation you have marked upon that you will achieve. You may not be able to achieve them if already you had wasted about 300 or something, and this one. But let it be on record that at least the few hours that remain, at least you did something. Like people were saying yesterday that Senegal would have done better if they had scored only one goal, because not that that one goal would have seen them through, but it could have been said in my final analysis that at least they score one goal against England. So that's what I'm saying. You are welcome.
Yes, sir.
Now let's roll the ball. But let me announce I have a guest in the studio, the managing director of Lagos Waste Management Authority, LAWMA, Mr. Ibrahim Odumboni. Yes, he's sitting directly, no, not directly opposite me. He's sitting directly on my seat now, because I'm still enjoying my life in my village. I no go kill myself for any person neck. Àbí tí kí para mi sí ìjọba lọ́rùn, ìjọba wo ni kí para mi sí lọ́rùn sí? Ṣé ìjọba Buhari ni, àbí tí Ọbásanjọ́ tó lọ, àbí tí Jonathan tó lọ, àbí tí Yar'Adua tó dolóògbé? Because ìjọba of Nigeria has never been too good. So because of that, it will be very, very foolish of me to para mi sí government of Nigeria lọ́rùn reason. That's it. So first of all, let me call MD. MD, sir, you are welcome to the program today.
Good morning, the Guru. Like I said earlier, I appreciate my upgrade to business class. I'm actually sitting on your chair from my economy to business class. Thank you very much.
No, Ibrahim, I'm always on the economy seat. What happened is that you upgraded from my seat, which is economy, to first class, PA first class. You will have a swimming pool. You can take your massage. You can do everything. And you'll be supply only shopping, not throughout. And Adu is competent of doing that. But all the same, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Morning.
Permit me to ask one question. What are the good feedback from your journey to, is it Paris for the climate change conference?
I think one of the key things that take home for me was the fact that everybody in the world have now kind of recognized the fact that the planet that we are now, there's an urgent need for us to start taking care of it so that we can leave it in a very good position for the generation unborn. So a lot of climate goals were discussed, and most importantly, our governor was well represented there as well to ensure that Lagos as a smart city begin to do what is required to ensure that we have a clean air, a more livable environment, and we look at sustainable energy and renewable sources of energy as well, and also look at a better way to manage our waste. So all those things and water solutions were all discussed there. And I'm very confident that the administration of Governor has a very good plan ahead. Thank you.
That's very good. We shall come to that because Lagosian want to hear from you that you've added to your knowledge to what the good work you did before. You've added to the mechanism so as to give Lagos a cleaner environment. We will come to that there. But sit, relax, and enjoy yourself while we go on. Now, I have historical perspective, just two. And I have knowledge droppers. Let us make sure that knowledge droppers of today is not jettisoned for whatever reason. The historical perspective, they are just two. And they are short one. Historical perspective number one.
Yes.
Who first brought Islam to Nigeria? Islam. Who brought it first to Nigeria?
Can I take a guess?
The answer is... okay, Adu, go ahead.
This is a guess. This is not a fact. I'm thinking Usman Danfodio.
Your guess might turn out to be the real fact we need.
Okay. But that's my guess, Usman Danfodio.
Hello, go ahead.
I said Usman Danfodio.
Okay. Oh, you are as wrong as many Nigerians would be. Ibrahim cannot. MD, can you attempt a guess?
Maybe my forefathers. my great grandfathers. I've always known that to be Muslims, so I don't know.
All right. All right. All right. Islam in ancient Yoruba, please listen to this. Not ancient Hebe, which is Hausa. Not ancient Fulani land, which was the creation of just 1800. Because the youngest tribe in Nigeria history, either by immigration or were our immigrants, is the Fulani tribe. Islam in ancient Yoruba is referred to as Esin in Mali. This will now tell you the trajectory of those who were there first. Esin Mali, which folk etymology states it comes from the word Mali. In Mali became the adulterated pronunciation of Mali. So Esin in Mali meaning the worship or the religion of Mali people, which they call Imali. Right? The earliest introduction of religion to that region was through Malian itinerant traders, Wagara traders, around the 14th century. I don't forget that Osman Fodio was a product of 18th century, 1800. So it is an infiltrated somewhere. It found itself around the Ilorin zone. By then, the whole of Ilorin had noticed like Fulani, Afonja, or this. There was nothing like Emir. It was under Oba King, Yoruba, purely Yoruba Empire, that the Oyo took time to control the Oyo Empire. So this is the first time that Islam came to Nigeria. We should note that. And this one went, it's properly analyzed between the 11th and 12th century. But before then, even in the 9th century, then the Kalem, that is Borno, the only empire that in that part of the world that the Fulani jihadists could not defeat, had already also gotten associated with Islam from Libya. And in the Borno area of today, that's it. There is a village somewhere there that there was a route of trade from Libya, Tripoli, straight away. Their first place of stoppage was somewhere in Borno there. And the mother of President Muhammadu Buhari was born in that village. I'm not talking of that settlement, but she's a product of that village, which is why in that village there is correlationship between those in that zone and people from Tripoli. So this is how it means, therefore, that Osman Fodio did not bring Islam to Nigeria, but what he brought was jihad, and this was in the 1800s. Osman Fodio, I am repeating this because of Adu, did not bring Islam to Nigeria. He met Islam here. Even when he landed within the zone of Kanu, before moving to the Sokoto, which is Caliphate today, he met Islam, being practiced by some of the Habe, who are called Hausa. But what he brought to Nigeria zone, when we are calling Nigeria, most of all these zones then had not been named Nigeria. Don't forget, Nigeria was 1914 product. But these are the zones that were in the future to constitute a country called Nigeria. So what Usman Danfodio brought to Nigeria is jihadist, but not Islam. That is number one historical perspective. The other one, I call it signboard. Signboard of serving notice. Today, 5th of December, 2022, by the grace of God, the APC presidential candidate, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is in Chatham House to give lecture today. Chatham House is that building, that custodian of knowledge, where every leader that want to make it in the world come to give speech. Today, I wish I am not in my village. If at all I were to be in Europe, I would have found my way to Chatham House, because Chatham House is not too far away from Bush House, where BBC is. So I would have found myself there to listen to what he will say. Now, he is accompanied by most state governors. It is today that my prayer is that the lecture or the speech that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Asiwaju, would give in Chatham House today will be something that will carry over to implement in Nigeria. Don't forget that in 2015, Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. General Muhammadu Buhari, was there as Rotimi Amechi, then governor of Rivers State, took him there as this campaign director general. And it was there he released the paper, My Contract with the Nigerian People, which was later to be denied by Gaba, the spokesman, that Buhari did not have any contract with Nigerians, and that what he said there, it was not the policy of APC that it was assumed. So today, my prayer is that as the presidential candidate of APC is stepping into that building, whatever he will say, may it be that we recognize it as his contract with the Nigerian people, whom he is aspiring now to come and rule as their leader, as their president, if he wins. So these are the two historical perspectives. One historical perspective directly, the other one is notice board. So this is board I paste things from Nigeria. So today it is the turn of presidential aspirant of the EC to be at Chatham House to give his lecture. Having said this, Abdul, please be kind enough to give us the menu. Let us run the number we can run before we come back to the managing director of LAWMA. Please go ahead.
All right, our menu today is rich, has 9 items, and I'll start with the very last. Item number 9, Boko Haram, allegation of 12,000 pregnancies terminated in Northeast, jolts military. That's according to the Vanguard. Menu 8, Petroleum Minister, worsening crude theft, outdated refineries, mar Buhari's scorecard. The Guardian has that report. Item number 7, Bandits kingpin, Turji, accuses FG military of reaping from insecurity in Northwest. And that's from the Daily Post. Item 6, don't blame us, you failed Nigerians, governors reply FG. And the Punch newspaper captured that story. Item 5, Zamfara community pays 20 million naira to avert terrorist attack. The Punch has the story, gunmen kill Labour Party women's leader in Kaduna. That's from the Premium Times. Item number 3, repentant terrorist wives delivered of 262 children in 4 months. Item 2, level of vote buying alarming. INEC Chairman Yakubu is the one who makes that statement, captured in the Vanguard newspaper. And item 1, the last but not least, is why we inserted 1.7 trillion naira projects in MDA's budget. The finance minister clarifies as Daily Post captures the story.
Thank you very, very much, Adu.
Yes, sir.
Let me look at it and see how many we can pick and run with. Now, you started by order of last becoming first. Actually, the last year is the one I named number G, because you read I. It was my error. When I was posting it, I did not copy up to the last one. The last one says floods. Serap sues Buhari over failure to prove missing trillions of ecological funds. And that one is our biggest story. And it comes for the TNG, the newsguru.com. But because it is our big story, if I bring it into this, we may not be able to talk to the managing director of LAWMA. So let me cut it off and hold it on till either tomorrow or Wednesday for our morning digest. Then number 2 is that in your order of reading it, there is an error. The Vanguard reported the matter, but the caption is Book Haram. Book, B-O-O-K, Haram. There is nothing like Book Haram. We have Boko Haram. Because the Vanguard, where I picked the story from, says Book Haram. I decided now to submit this to further investigation so that I will know if it is Book Haram, the allegations was really talking of, or Boko Haram. But the truth about it is that this is a foreign news organ, very, very trusted, very, very, very widely relied upon rituals that says the allegation here is that from 2013 till date, the Nigerian military has terminated pregnancies of young girls, women, the army capture or in their camp or in this refugee camp. 12, those who were pregnant in the camp, that the Nigerian army had terminated 12,000 pregnancies since 2013 to date. It's a very, very serious revelation. The Nigerian army spokesperson tried every means to fight it down, that it couldn't have been true. And he talked about rules of engagement, and he mentioned some countries that those type of things took place, but never not in Nigeria. The question will be therefore, if it did not take place at all, how did this come to the mind of an international organization, media organization like that, to compile all the list? 12,000 pregnancies terminated, and the organization listed the reason that the military that forced the military to doing that. But because I am still bringing the matter Boko Haram or Boko Haram, because if you go to the Vanguard, it tells you Boko Haram. So for that reason, I have taken time. I have sent mail to the headquarters officials and readers, and they will give me all the details. Within the next 20, I think now it will be, I will get the details today, unfailingly by the grace of God, according to the promise they gave to me. And they promise equally that they will add more facts to it for me, so that when I'm presenting my thing, it shall be the authentic source of the guru, which never will go amphibious to area that cannot be authenticated. So I rest that. Then petroleum, then let me go up again. Why we inserted 1.7 trillion projects in MDA's budget? Now, we now know we now know, as a matter of fact, this thing started with Madam Sadia Farouk, the Minister of Humanitarian Entertainment. I don't know the name before I do, until you help me. I thought it was called Humanitarian Disaster and Disaster Creation Ministry, until you corrected me that was not it. So when the woman went to the National Assembly 2 weeks ago to defend her budget, a committee member of the House of Representatives saw that there was 206 billion in the Ministry of Humanitarian whatever and kindness whatever budget. That member now asked Madam, this budget, which subhead 206 billion, how did you get this? Then the woman shouted there that I am not the one who created you too, that it was Zainab Ahmed, the Minister of Finance, Economic Budget and Economic something, that is started economic
planning.
Oh, national planning.
Yes.
National planning. Yeah. The woman, the Minister of Humanitarian, whatever, you will correct it for me, I do. Say in the village here now, I'm not learning anything new, so that's why I don't know how to call it. That it was Zainab, the Minister of Finance, that he started that. So the issue of his sanction by the executive, but if it is to be properly called, is no. He said that it was the Ministry of Finance that padded it.
Mm.
So the issue of the executive padding budget had been confirmed between from that woman. But the matter went haywire, and they challenged the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. Madam, come. And when Madam came, before Madam came, the National Assembly had been able to establish about 406 billion padded into different ministries, agencies, and budgets. Now, I took time to narrate how budget is created. The creation of budget, let me go to that before I finalize on this, is a process. Every year, from the beginning of the year, you prepare your budget. The MDAs, that is ministry, departments, and agencies, because all the agencies and departments, they are under ministries. All the agencies, the department, they prepare their budget. Then they submit their budget to their ministries. Then the ministries, each and all of them, will compile their budget together. Then they will submit it to the finance minister. That is Ministry of Finance. That is where all the ministries subject their budget. Then the Ministry of Finance will now go through the budgets of all the ministries. Very, very hard work. They are hard-working people. Then they will go through the budgets of every of the ministries and remove what might be started there by mistake or agree. Then the Ministry of Finance will now submit the budget of all the ministries totally to the president. In this case, President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, the president will now, through his office, will now go through the budgets of all the ministries, which would have included all the agencies and all the departments. Then the president, from his own office now, will now take the budget, which he would have corrected, remove what need to be removed, and will now take it to the National Executive Council. That meeting they always have every Wednesdays. And he will now submit it to that Executive Council, Economic Executive Council, will not utilize that budget. It could take a month, it could take 2 months, it could take 3 months. Then they will now pass it as intact, as holy, as fair, as justifiable, and as devoid of any fraudulent things. Then, when they now return it to the president, meaning the council will now approve it. It is after that approval that the president will now carry the booklet, which is budget proposal, to the National Assembly and place it before the National Assembly. Before now, the National Assembly will not take their time to scrutinize. So, this year alone, this 2023 budget, which President Muhammadu Buhari took to the National Assembly, is it up to a month or so ago? It contained 406 billion padded by the executive. So, but the revelation now is that it is Madam Zainab Ahmed with her officials in the Ministry of Finance that are the originator, the carrier, and the effector of this padding. So the Madam had gone to the National Assembly, I'm talking of Zainab Ahmed, and now admitted that 1.7 trillion as against 406 billion we were thinking was really padded. But she called it that it was not padding to see. She even said they padded the 1.7 trillion into 17 minutes and agencies. And she mentioned a few of them. But the question, but she now explained that it was those are the projects to be funded by borrowing, that it is transparency. This is the meaning of it in Nigeria. Nigeria version of how to be transparent, she said so. And now the question became, how come that if you are bit transparent, you pick, for example, in Madam Humanitarian, you brought 200 billion put there. To do what? Some of the work to be done with, some of them may have to do with education. Why don't you take the one that is education, put in the Ministry of Education? So, but she told us that, it is our way of being transparent and to meet best practices of the world in budgeting matter like that. The National Assembly, now, they are not gullible. They know what they are doing, because all this 1.7 trillion is to be shared with them from the executive down to the National Assembly. What they are shouting to us for now is so that they will know that if it is 29 want to give to me before, no, I'm qualified more than that. They started, but let all Nigerians be watching. By the time the budget will be passed, this all this one, which will now cause, hey, my God, this is fraud, this is padding, all will be passed together. And where does it go? They will never go for the projects. Instead, they will pick this. Like this year, it is purely overloaded because all of them see it as severance package. That's it. Otherwise, because please, Adu, let us be on our watch. I don't understand why Nigeria must be sleeping on their right at any given time. At the end of the day, where these budgets have been passed and returned back to the presidency for signature so that it could become law, all this they are shouting about will be passed. They may adjust it and adjust it, but this 1.7 trillion will be passed. And the fact remains that my sources in the ministries, my sources at the National Assembly told me that padding that came was close to 2 trillion. And don't forget, a session will not take place in the National Assembly. The National Assembly will now insert their own, because rub my back, I rub your back is the name of this game. So when the sessions are added there, they will go, and the executive will be able to question it, because the one they padded down to the National Assembly, the National Assembly passed it, yes. So why do you want to sit down now to question? Look at National Assembly, they started this. The National Assembly, if what the executive padded is up to almost 2 trillion, the National Assembly will not do anything less than 1 trillion, meaning 3 trillion of the 17 trillion budget, which we will borrow to fund. And today, every of our earning, including every of our earning, including what we are borrowing, is to service debts, not payment. Imagine 3 trillion going off to the wind. And they will now tell you that we started, we carry out projects. Look at the amount of money we spend. But nobody had ever gone to the end to say, okay, we have evaluated the cost of what was spent here is this. This is why our bad luck comes in. And I end up by saying this. President Muhammadu Buhari, in his first budget presented, was 2016. Because 2015, when he took over on 29th of May 2015, the budget that he made was not his budget, was budget prepared by the previous government, the PDP-led government, Goodluck Jonathan. When the budget of 2016 came, then the issue of padding came, because they have the padding budget for us, not today. Then President Muhammadu Buhari, I want to quote him now. He said, this issue of padding, that is hearing padding of budget for the first time in life, that Nigeria should not forget that he was the chairman, the first chairman of the board of NNPC. He was in charge of the NNPC and our oil, that he never heard of budget padding during that period. And that he was a governor 2 times. That I did not hear of padding. And I was head of state. I did not hear of anything padding. This is the first time in my life I'm hearing of padding. Since that 2016 was his first time in his life, President Muhammadu Buhari, either by commission or omission, had witnessed continuously and continually padding of budgets in larger scale a year after the other, till the last one now that he will sign to law. So this one now, the minister admitted padding, but she said it's certain 1.7 trillion. But my sources talk of about 2 trillion. And by the time the National Assembly will finish, it will be around 3 trillion. If 3 trillion is now taken to be shared by individuals, we can now know our predicament. I stop there. Okay. Zamfara community pays 20 million to avert terrorist attack. There is a community in Zamfara. Turji, the head of the terrorists, commanded that zone. And Turji had about 1,500 or so under his command, bandits or terrorists under his command. He has told the people that it's either you pay 20 million so that we can allow you to do your farming and we will not harass any of you. The people went to look for the money in Zamfara, under this watch where they say terrorism had gone down. They went to look for the money. First of all, they carry 100,000 naira to buy recharge card, buy fuel, buy this thing for them. Then, because the money was not complete, and he gave them deadline. I think the deadline he gave to them was 27th of November or so. He said if they don't bring it, then they should consider all of them finished. Then the people now gather 10.7 or 10.2 million. So they sent 7 of them to go and give him the 10, say that we'll be looking for another. So he sent his boys, terrorists, to meet the people somewhere. And when they got there, they brought the 10.7 million. And they told us, so no, we are still looking for it, is not complete. His people contacted him on phone, and Turji said, what? And other his people, that how many of them brought the money? He said they are 7. He said pick 5 out of them. They are already kidnapped with that. They are victims. And let only 2 go back to report. Do you know that the people went back and they charged each person in the community, in those villages, 6,500. And they gathered the remaining money. Then they quickly ran back to them. They communicate. And they communicate, in most cases, some security agencies are even in go-between. Then they went back to pay the money. Then he told them, Turji told them that Okay, they are coming very late. The 5 people he picked, they must pay ransom for them, and they pay ransom differently from the 5 people. So after collecting the balance to make the 20 million, he now told them they can go home and go and do their works. They will not touch them. Then, a few days, the military went bombing, and they bombed his house. The house was partially destroyed. Then the man had come to challenge the federal government only last week, telling the federal government that, do you want to kill me? Is that why? If you think you have the power to kill me, why don't you kill me? Make mockery of the federal government and its army. And he now said, you are doing this because you don't want the terrorism to end. Because I am ready to end it now. You are now provoking me. I will continue. It is because you, the security agencies, are benefiting from continuation of terrorism. This is what the man said last week. He mocked the military like all over the world now. Because from my village here, I can connect to the whole world. Nigeria has become a terrible mocking whatever all across the world. This was last week. The man challenged them. He said, okay, that you destroy partially part of my house. I will not be surprised if by tomorrow the same federal government, through agencies, not agencies, will go there and build the house. I don't know. But this is exactly what is happening in that zone. So it is the same man who they declare wanted about 4 weeks ago that they placed 5 billion naira upon. It is the same man now that has come to this, collecting this money from communities in Zamfara because he controls Zamfara, Niger State, Sokoto State, plus one other state. Sometimes he made the caution into Katsina to pick his victim and Kwanko. If not because of time, I would have given names of all the camps of the terrorists and the troops capacity, each of them holding. Some of them are having only 100 people, some of them. But the largest of them all, most powerful, is having 2,500 people. This is made possible. But because of no time, I will not go to that, so we can talk to my brother, the managing director of LAWMA. So, good morning once again, Mr. Managing Director of LAWMA.
Good morning, sir. How are you, sir? It's been very lovely listening to you.
Exam my last English.
It'll be lovely listening to you and quite insightful.
Thank you. Now, before you left for the international conference, because nearly every human being in this world to that conference, I'm talking at your upper level. But let me admit, boy, you did how you. Wasn't that the conference that President Biden, China President, all of them attended?
It's the same one. It shows the importance of the environment and climate to every one of us. To everybody in the world, so it's more of a global concern.
Permit me now to add President to your name.
No, I never reached that level. Now, waste president I be. Now, waste I they follow. I never reached that level. Thank you, the guru.
Okay. I will not even call you because there couldn't be two presidents in.
Not possible.
Now, what new is coming up in Lagos to make Lagos really, really the better environment and the neater city that is supposed to be? What new in your agenda?
So thank you very much. So a couple of our ongoing initiatives, we are going to have a very big step up during the festive period. So like we know, Lagos is the place to be for everybody in Africa, in diaspora, in December. So the expectation and the fun, the vibrant of the city, the tourism, everything is going to go up. So the volume of people that will be coming into Lagos, the influx in Lagos is going to be quite high. So this year, we'll see an unprecedented stepping up of the activities on all our major routes and all our PSPs. Now we have about 450 of them plus. we'll all be going all out there to ensure that day in, day out, while we move about to do what we need to do, that we're maintaining a very clean city. But my quick ask for our people is to change the attitude. The attitudinal change is still much needed. We've seen a significant rise in street trading, which we are going to stop and shun. So we want to tell our people to go to designated markets or shopping places to do their businesses rather than encouraging street trading, especially during traffic hours, especially during trading on our pavements, on our walkways. Those are things that we want to try and avoid because it's causing a lot of nuisance on our road. Especially when the street trading goes, then all our sweepers are finished their work, then again everything starts all over again. So we need to ensure that we shun that. So illegal trading, we are going to have a very big crackdown on that over the next 3 weeks. We will crack down on all illegal trading, street trading that are not allowed in all of our major routes. We will ensure that that is being cracked down on. And also, for all the households, we want to appeal to you to continue to patronize your PSP, especially at this point in time. I know a lot of us will bring out all our 2022, I don't want to carry 2023 waste and things that some people like doing decluttering. So let your PSP know well ahead of time when you're doing your decluttering, not just you bringing a sofa and throw it on the street. So try and avoid that, because when it's traced back to you, you will definitely be made to face the law for doing that. Okay. So we're going to have a very extensive cleanup, and we're also going to publicize our contact line for the coordinators for each of these cleanups across all the local governments as well in the dailies.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
But there are two quick questions. After the two quick questions, if you have anyone, you can drop one of your own before we open the line.
Okay, sir.
The capacity to stop street trading and roadside trading, is that exclusively the responsibility of LAWMA? Can LAWMA carry that out, or is going to work in synergy with other departments? That is number one. Then number two, dust bin, waste bin, and all those. I think your law says that from October ending, it was going to be effected legally. October ended, and here we are now in December. What happened? Why the breach of that execution of that exercise?
Thank you very much, sir. So on the first question on the street trading, we are going to work with our parents' ministry, which is Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, under the leadership of Mr. Turji, to ensure that street trading is something that we collectively take other agencies like Neighborhood Watch, the supporting police command, and also task force and everyone, just to ensure that we have a cleaner and more safer city during this festive period. So we are going to work with all the other agencies, but Ministry of Environment will lead the action, while as LAWMA will ensure that sustainability and cleanup is maintained. So we have our own enforcement team that will be working to ensure that we sustain whatever the other agencies have helped us to achieve in those areas that we need support on. So very well. On the second question on the bin, we've started issuing abatement notices to certain locations. So we're starting. We've already started doing all those notice issuance to people and giving them 3 months. 3 months, at least 3 months. What do you call it? 3 months notice for them to be able to make law rectification. So you see a lot of that, and then we've seen a rise in demand for bins as well. And I know that anyone that is under my Christmas list this year, you are not getting ampao, you are getting bin. You are getting bin. You are getting bin. If I pass it on to you and you have one, pass it on to somebody else that don't have one. So don't expect Christmas hamper from MD LAWMA. You'll be expecting bin if you are lucky to be in my
but the bin can be put inside Christmas hamper now.
No, you can put inside the bin. I'll probably give you your bin bags and co. So I want to encourage people, a lot of people that do all these gifting during the Christmas season. We need a lot of bins around. There are a lot of bins around. So give bin to your neighbor. If you know your neighbor does not have a bin and somebody on your street doesn't have a bin or someone that you know don't have a bin, give them a big bin and then protect our very important Lagos environment.
Okay, thank you. Adu.
Yes, sir. I was just going to mention, I've always mentioned that I see the work the men and women who work with LAWMA have been doing, to try to make Lagos clean. And it's always very incredible. The other day I was driving past Lekki. I saw some of your people at one of that big hospital there, doing by what the medical waste that you talked about. I saw the truck clearly labeled medical waste, and they seem to be doing their work. Well, I just want to talk about personal protective equipment. Now, you had mentioned it earlier. Sometimes when I pass and I see the women helping to clean the roads, the reflectors are not so visible to light and all of that. I know you'd mentioned you have an initiative. How far have you come with that to help them to be more, quote unquote, safeguarded whilst they do the work you're already doing?
So, and just before the last time I came here, we had some workshops for them at district level, just to educate them on health and safety.
Okay.
And then we did some medical checks and checkups for them as well, just to ensure that they are their individual health are well maintained.
Okay.
So one of the other things we do for them now, which changed since that last time, is we've now introduced some health and safety officers that goes around to make sure that they are doing the right thing.
To monitor them.
Yes, because we do give some of these first aid, some of these kits to them. But sometimes a lot of them might not be coming directly from home. They might be coming from somewhere to work, and then they don't bring that particular thing. So our job
they just try to make shift.
Yeah, so they have to make sure that when we do spot check on a regular basis. And we're also in the process of changing some of their costumes and some of their uniforms for next year. So we have new uniforms in place so that it encourage visibility for 15 meters ahead. And also we are trying to get them footwear so that we can have a consistent approach to safety wear that they are all using.
Well done. And when I saw the medical waste on was it Tuesday or Thursday this week, I was just like, oh, this is what it looks like. Because when you mentioned it, I didn't quite connect with it. But I saw the truck, I saw the guys that were working there trying to evacuate at the back of the hospital because it's on the back of Admiralty Way, and saw that. One more thing that I wanted to ask is the cartwheelers. You mentioned that your vision is to clamp down on them as much as possible. How far have you come?
We've recorded a very huge success because about a week ago they have the Waste Picker Association at their annual dinner for the year.
Okay.
And in the process we have over 250 new ex-cart pushers that are joining the recycling sector. So we continue to give an open door policy to them for them to join. And whenever we have a situation whereby we are enforcing, we reorientate them. It's not only about prosecution, about the reorientation and making sure that they are part of the society and doing it in a formal way. So recycling is an opportunity for them. It's still not oversaturated. There's a lot of opportunities for them there to go into. So we are not going to leave anyone behind or disadvantage them. But what we're saying is let's do the right thing. It's not about picking waste and dumping it in the middle of the road. Try and pick valuables, and then we can use them as a resource to create and kickstart a lot of things in the economy, which we are seeing now. So we've done a lot of orientation for them. We are going to be doing trainings for them in Hausa, Igbo, and various languages that they are used to, so that we make sure that we capture every ethnic because Lagos is very diverse. It's a very, very diverse community, and when going to one of these waste pickers events, one of the key things that my team tells me is more like you are in Nigeria. Everybody's there. So every state is well represented there.
Well said. Guru, those are the questions that I just wanted to ask.
Okay. Mr. MD, we will come back to you towards the tail of our discussion.
Okay, sir.
Adu.
Yes, sir.
You may want to open up the line now so that our people can participate, but we will leave the last 7 minutes for a knowledge drop box, then my comment, then we shall hear the final word from the managing director of LAWMA. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Guru, and thank you, MD Ibrahim. We have people sending messages on WhatsApp, Twitter, and of course the phone lines. I'll start off with WhatsApp as well. This is from Maxwell from Ikeja. He says, "Good morning, Adu, and guest Guru. Please, I would like that information on how Islam came to Nigeria in writing. Is there a way? Are you going to put it on your website, Guru?"
This man who is asking for this, he asked for a good thing. I can put it on my website. But what we say, friends of the Guru should always make sure that they help the Guru with 1,000 naira at least every month. I don't know whether the man who wrote this have even upgraded himself to be bringing 100,000 naira to the Guru every month. Don't you know what it costs to do this thing? And I'm in my village now. Unless if he says a helicopter to come and pick me this afternoon, I get to Lagos, I do what he asked me to do, then I return back to my village. But I will do it. I will oblige him.
All right.
Request.
Rashid from Idumota says, "Good day to you over there, Adrian Guru. In fact, I'm so glad you brought the MD into the studio. Please ask him what is going on in Idumota as regards refuse, Nnamdi Azikiwe Street specifically."
So I think in reaction to that, you can see on my phone, this is my team cleaning Nnamdi Azikiwe as we speak, 10:34 with a truck there.
Okay, so maybe you can show the camera as well.
So those locations are clean every hour. So the fact that you saw it 20 minutes ago does not mean something's not being done about it. There's a movement of the movement there is a bit restricted sometimes.
Okay.
So it's a continuous effort. Like the Guru followed us on our tour.
Yeah.
Clean Lagos, Lagos Island. It's a recurrent thing. So it's not a matter of nobody's coming. This is Udumota. I can show you Udumota.
Yes.
9 a.m.
You just showed me on the WhatsApp.
The same location I'm talking about. This is the location at 10:16. But if you look at it again in the next 20 minutes, but we need to change our attitude. Everybody needs to change. It's not about just coming to, it's clean, let me come and dump it down and go. Do you have a bin? Ensure you use, there's a market bin designated there, not far from that location. The bin is not full. I can show you the bin, it's not full. But people would prefer to dump on the road rather than go to the bin to go and dump because they don't want to make a
Is it laziness or?
It's sheer attitudinal change. It's something that's become a culture in those traders there.
Wow. They
should just walk to the bin. Thank you.
Okay, this is coming still from WhatsApp. You don't put your name. It says, "Good morning, Adrian Guru. I want to know if the president is supposed to rule, lead, or govern. I keep hearing the term rule whenever the president's work is being referred to. Could you please clarify whether the president is supposed to rule, lead, or govern Nigerians when elected into office?"
I do help that man.
Well, ideally, the president is supposed to govern, not rule. And in governance is leadership. Leadership is a quality, but the ideal term is govern. That's why it's called a government, not a rulership. So maybe the term rule is being used maybe because of the history of the military dictatorships we've had in the country. Perhaps we've not really shaken that off. It's kind of, we've gotten accustomed to just saying rule. But thanks a lot for asking that question. Phone line 0809-234-5913. Please turn off your radio when you call us. We have the MD of LAWMA here with us as well. You can ask your questions. You can also give some eyewitness accounts. Perhaps you have some information that can help them be even more effective than they currently are. Please turn off your radio when you call, please. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Adu. How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
The Guru, good morning. Far away in your village. And then we greet
Thank you, sir.
our guest, the MD of LAWMA.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Okay. I'm calling from Sule.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's this Swift cleaners also. Is this Swift? That they have receptacles, recyclable receptacles around
Swift Foundation.
Sule. And that is a very good idea, which they partnered with the CDAs, so they have them in their areas for bottle plastics, and then at a point they will come and clear it. I think LAWMA should also see how they will partner with them to even do more of that around, especially for recyclable items, so that it will help to reduce especially the ones that they throw into the drains, that keep flooding the drains, so that people will have somewhere they can throw those recyclable items, and then it could now be collected. Whether they are going to use the cart pushers to be evacuating them at intervals, I believe that would help to improve or keep the environment cleaner and even our gutters free of those recyclable items.
All right, sir.
So that's just what I want to contribute.
Well said. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think
Sweep
Sweep Foundation is one of our recyclers. So we have about Sweep Foundation.
Okay.
It's run by Ambassador Philip Boise. So he's one of our recyclers and he's doing a fantastic job in Surulere. So we have about 140 of such kind of companies and recyclers all across Lagos that are doing something similar in various locations. So he's in Surulere. We have those people also in different parts of. We have in Lagos, we have in VI, we have in other places across Lagos. So it's something that's part of the thing that this administration introduced 3 years ago, and we've seen a lot of progress in there. And the waste pickers that we were talking about earlier, I talked about waste pickers. So the cart pushers are now metamorphosing into waste pickers. Waste pickers are picking valuable from waste, which is recyclables.
Okay.
So that's the job we are integrating all those cart pushers to do. So they are working with companies like Waste Sweep Foundation, recyclers, and all those recycling companies all around.
All right. One more call, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Azu.
Yes, sir.
My name is Prince from Okota.
Prince, go ahead.
Please, my question is this. On the third mainland bridge, every day by day, we normally see all these LAWMA people. They will sweep, cleaning up the bridge and throwing all the dirt, throwing it back into the water. You understand what I'm saying? They will carry both the sand, whatever they gather from the bridge, they will throw it back into the water, and that is just an eyesore. I don't know. Does it mean that they don't have any place that they can keep those things? Then after they will call their trucks to come and pick them up. Is it okay for them to clean up the beach and throw the whole deck inside the water? I don't get it.
All right, thank you for your question. You want to respond to that?
In response to that, I want to disagree, but not totally disagree, because as human, we have the capability to do good and do bad. All those sweepers on our highways, especially Tomiland Bridge, they are monitored 24/7. So
because when I drive Third Mainland Bridge, I see the sweepers and I see a gentleman or woman wearing a white.
The supervisors wear white and they are watching
outfit.
them with cameras. So the reason why the camera is 24/7,
so I don't know if that's all the time, but I've seen
there's any hazard is recorded real life. So in situations when someone notices things like this, so give us one information on it. But definitely any sweeper that does that is definitely playing with their job. It doesn't happen. I don't want to 100% disagree, because you are human. So we're able to do good and do bad, but definitely it's not allowed. It's something that LAWMA fronts out, and all the sweepers won't do that.
Are you bringing back your sweeper trucks? I know you had sweeper trucks.
Yeah, we have them. So each of the districts have a small 12 CBM trucks that goes around to just pick all the sweeper waste. So they have what they call mustering points.
Yeah.
So if you notice when this the person wearing the white uniform, apart from watching them, he normally will have a black bin they have a bin in their hand or holding a roll of bin bags. So what they do is they gather all those waste and put it at the mustering point. So whenever a truck is coming from, let's say it's coming from the island and is going to Ojota Adam side, they just need to slow down on the Tomiland Bridge, pick those bags, and off it goes. And that's what we've been doing for years.
All right, let's go to WhatsApp Guru.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure you could still hear us.
I'm following you.
Someone is sending a message, MD. It says, There's illegal waste dumping by my house. Rufus and Bees by Marwa in Lekki Axis.
Rufus and Bees.
Where's Rufus and Bees? I know Marwa, that's the second intersection in Lekki. So Rufus and Bees.
So what we could do is get a contact of the person, but I have an idea of the location that the person is talking about.
That's
so that location is cleared on a daily basis, very close to the waterfront. We're in the process of building a barricade there, like a wire mesh to prevent people from accessing, because they have some shanties not far from there, and I know that we've enforced to move them away, but they seem to be returning there with communities opening the gate and allowing them to come in. So there's a lot of construction sites at that location. So majority of the people that are constructing, all their staff that are laying by, are the one using those locations. So we continue to enforce that. So I will get the contact of the person. We'll try and ensure that we can create a real-time surveillance there. We monitor it and we clear it every day. But we are about to build a wire mesh barricade there to prevent people from using that location.
Okay. This one is saying, good morning, MD. Please, what's the current LAWMA charges via the PSP operators for garbage disposal?
Thank you. All those information, LAWMA charges, PSP operators, locations, they are all on the LAWMA website. You go to LAWMA website, you can drill down to what local government you have, and then what's your PSP operator's name. You can get all the details there.
What's the website? Let me just type it to them.
www.lawma.gov.ng.
Okay.
www.lawma.gov.ng.
Okay.
So that's where you can get all those information. And regarding when it comes to waste charges, I must state this: waste is like food. You have to decide on how much frequency of collection, quantity and amount of waste determines the price. The price is not constant. It depends on your use. So that's the best answer for that. So if you call your contact PSP on that list, you'll be able to get their price list, and then based on your frequency, you'll be able to determine what price you're looking at. Thank you.
Okay. We have more calls coming through. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Adu.
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Muiz from Lekki.
All right, Muiz, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. The way I was about the LAWMA is that they are doing their work very fine, but I observe some things. Maybe we are driving from, let me see, Sangros to Tomeland Bridge. Those old women, you understand, they'll be using their cap to flag down, to be begging people out to maybe just stop them from one stop to another stop. You understand, which is, I feel that they are like a mother to me. Then I'm a driver, I can't even park, pick them, so maybe my boss or one of the people can see me, that maybe I'm using the bus or the car to take people in the road. Sometimes I'll just park, give them money. You understand, there's a lot of buses that maybe because are not using again. They can look for like 3 or 4 for them to stop them, maybe to drop them their bus stop, so they will find their way to their home. You can see the CMS, from the CMS, okay, so you're coming from the Lekki to the UBA to Marina. Coming down to that Marina, you see a lot of women there, sitting down there, begging for the money for the transport. I know Lagos is paying them, you understand, but it's not enough. But we need some money ourselves in East Nigeria, generally. So I stop sometimes, give them money. You understand? If they not look like maybe the bus they're not using again, the long bus, at least, to be drop them there, stop. It will be fine by me.
Thank you.
I think for me, in response to that, I will say,
MD.
Sir?
MD.
Sir?
MD.
Guru, I can hear you.
Okay. Let me throw a word to what this man has just said.
Okay.
I must thank his spirit of generosity and what he's doing. But what he's doing itself is another risk. Because as he packed down to help these people, last man may pick him up that he packed on unauthorized place. And that will be another kettle of tea entirely. And I want to add that the begging culture is one thing that has destroyed this country. Go to the international airport. You are flying in from another country. The place you originate your journey from, nobody begs you for anything there. But you get here, the custom, it doesn't matter the number of stars he carry at his epaulette on his shoulder. The immigration, the DSSS, the police, whatever you want to see, the airline workers always are, what do you have for us? What do you have for us? This culture, we must try to stop it. And it can be stopped through another means, which I think goes beyond the discussion of this. What he's doing is good. Even if you pay those women, because I know the LAWMA pays them well enough, if you pay them times 10 of that, because they are still within the Nigeria culture of begging, they will beg. Because here is a system of government that have turned every person to a beggar, that reduced everyone from capacity of ever having dream of wealth in life. So until we come to the point that a good leadership comes into Nigeria at all levels. For example, a few days ago, if Nisi Wike did not announce to the whole world what Buhari released to the South Niger Delta states, look what most of them have done with the money. They kept quiet, and all of them are now fighting Wike. Say, why did he talk? So this is the caution that is done. The government has to come to that. But my brother, who is top, he is doing a very good job. But he should be careful so that he don't, because he wouldn't fall victim of LAWMA that we are arresting for unlawful parking. So go ahead, MD.
So thank you very much. I think you've answered it all to me. It's just something that, like you said, the issue of begging has now become the new illegal trading as well, like street trading. People tend to just do it no matter what. Like I know that under this administration, the governor has ensured that over the last few years, they are paid regularly, monthly, just like salary. For example, I knew that they got paid even before the end of the month this month. So last month. So and it is December season. Every December, our governor who pays them before the half of the middle of the month. So it doesn't matter. It's not the time of payment or how they are paid. It becomes a culture of people. So it's something that we try to continue to orientate ourselves and also monitor. We tell them to not beg, because if you look at it, we do. They are paid based on the time they work, and the majority of them have other things that they do as well. But begging is something we want to discourage, and I know that it could be embarrassing at times, but it's a culture that we as a country, like the Guru said, everybody needs to change. It's about time we change our culture so that the generation coming behind will know that we are more of a striver and a doer than a beggar.
Well, before you go into the knowledge drop box, let me just drop 2 comments for the MD so that, can also help their work to get even better. Alfred says...
can he handle it? Go on.
2 comments in 1 minute. Alfred says, MD, there's a big bean bucket at St. Gregory in Ikoyi. It's always placed improperly. So it causes traffic and endangers road users. St. Gregory's, yes. So that's this is how it can be better placed. And there's one more from Adewale. Says, I would like to report the LAWMA to LAWMA at Bariga, particularly Ward B, Oderemo Street, Onajimi and Awofodu. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So the PSP operator of this area, that Express General Logistics Waste, they're almost a year now. This PSP hasn't been coming to carry waste on this axis. People have been using available options which are not environmentally good and against the environmental law in Lagos. It says some even go to throw things in the canal and drainages whenever it rains. And the worst part is that this operator still shares waste bills to houses in the area. Oderemo or Najimi. Yes, sir.
You have accepted the time. Okay.
We pick that up for a very thorough investigation.
I will ask you to give your opinion last. You will talk on that. Let us now flick over to the knowledge drop box, because I I did not omit it today.
All right.
The lowest drop box today is proof for fact of who started Boko Haram in Nigeria. It started from the northeast. And this question, I've gathered all the knowledge to answer it positively. Because the Shehu of Borno, Dr. Abubakar Umar Gabea, while lamenting the war of Boko Haram that have been all raging for 13 years, that have destroyed lives and everything and properties in the northeast, he made a comment. He said the problem of Boko Haram insurgency was never started by Borno people. Please listen. He said founder of the Boko Haram sect, Shekau, is not from Borno. Everybody knows where Shekau is from, he stated. Then I repeat what he said, that the 30-year-old war that had devastated the whole of the people, the Boko Haram from Borno. He said founder of the Boko Haram sect, Shekau, is not from Borno. Everybody knows where Shekau is from, he stated. Then I asked the question. On my tweet, I told him, Your Royal Majesty, please let us not be too economical with facts. Who is the person and where did he come from? It is for that reason that I produced this knowledge drop box. And let us go now to answer the question. Now, in order to answer the question, we first of all must identify who started Boko Haram and where did he come from, the person. And in order to do that, we better, one of my long late professor in London School of Journalism in those days told us that when we find it difficult to start a story, we should go back to the beginning to start the story. So that is what I'm doing now. Knowledge drop box of today is true life story of Muhammad Yusuf. Let us follow. Muhammad Yusuf was born 29 January 1970. Died 30 July 2009. He was aged 39 years old when he died. All right? He died in Maiduguri. His allegiance to Boko Haram. Then, years of service, that is the Muhammad, is 2002 to 2007. Rank, he was the leader of Boko Haram. Battle was Boko Haram insurgency. Those were the battles and the wars he fought. 2009, Boko Haram uprising executed. Muhammad Yusuf, 29 January 1970 to 30 July 2009, as I said, his other name is also known as Uzaz Muhammad Yusuf, was a Nigeria terrorist and founder of the terrorist Islamist group Boko Haram in 2002. So the person who started Boko Haram was not Abubakar Shekau, no, but it was Muhammad Yusuf, called in the other way as Utaz Muhammad Yusuf. He was his leader until he was killed in 2009. Then Boko Haram uprising. The group's official name, that is Boko Haram, the group's official name is Gamatu Alice Sunni Leader Wathi Wa Jihad, which in Arab means people committed to the propagation of the teaching and jihad. Born in Giga village in Jaksko, that is present day Yobe State, Nigeria. Yusuf received a local education. Later, he studied more of Islam and became a Salafi. Then, education. According to scholar Paul Ladok of the University of California at Santa Cruz, as a young man, Yusuf was instructed in Shalom and erroneously associated with Salafim and teachings of Tamiyah. He had the equivalent of a graduate education, according to Nigeria academic Hussein Zakaria Yusuf was never a proficient in English, as was reported. He believed the strict application of Islamic law, which represented his idea of justice according to the teachings of Islamic Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi. Boko Haram hitman would murder members of other Muslim sects like the Salafist, Izala, and Sifi, Taya, and Qadir fraternities. In 2009, BBC interviewed Yusuf and concluded. He said that in an interview, Yusuf stated his belief that the concept of spherical earth is contrary to Islamic teaching and should be rejected. He also rejected Darwinian evolution and the concept of condensation cycle that produce rain in the interview. He said, this is what he said in the interview. There is
Guru, yes.
Okay. Now, I have established the fact of what it is. Personal life. Yusuf had 4 wives. The mother Yusuf had 4 wives and 12 children. One of them being Abu Masab al-Basawi, who claims since 2016 to be the rightful leader of Boko Haram, opposing even Abubakar Shekau, who had been killed. He was reported as living a lavish lifestyle, which included ownership and driving of a Mercedes-Benz. Then let us talk of his death, and let me drop the day. Following his death, following the July 2009 Boko Haram uprising, the Nigerian military captured Yusuf at his parents' in-laws' house. They transferred him to the custody of the Nigerian police force. The police summarily executed Yusuf in public view outside the police headquarters in Maiduguri. Police officials initially claimed either that Yusuf was shot while trying to escape or died of wounds he sustained during a go battle with the military. This was the lifestyle of the man who started Boko Haram, not as the Ekelem said. No, it is not like that. And don't forget, when Obasanjo decided to help the matter, he went to the house of the in-law of the Muhammad Yusuf and begged them. And in fact, I think the government paid some money as compensation. So Boko Haram was not started by Abubakar Shekau. No, it was started by Muhammad Yusuf. And just to correct it, that is the knowledge of loss. Having said that, short too much. Andy, can you just say bye-bye to your people? Just say bye-bye, please, because the time is gone.
Thank you very much for all the listeners. If you have any other question or information, you can call us on LAWMA helpline, which is 07080601020. Again, is 07080601020. We'll be more than happy to listen to you. Have a very good first season ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, MD LAWMA. I do.
Yes, sir.
Very, very much. Obina, thank you for handling camera perfect.
No problem, sir.
And Sharon, if you are there, I want to thank you. I thank everyone that was no time to quote follow me on this video. I will only money and
Oh, Guru,
you shouldn't have made the president it. So after this, I want to thank all of you. Until we meet again, please keep yourself out of trouble. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.